Well, good morning. We are going to do our SMR today in stretch, mobility, and recovery. This is one of my favorite workouts to do to really stretch everything out to improve your recovery and mobility. We're going to be using our Rolga today. And if you have the activator, we'll use the activator. If you don't have an activator, you can use a tennis ball, lacrosse ball, racquetball, or you can do hand manipulation, which I'm going to demonstrate today. So you can either start on your mat or in a chair. If you have the activator, I like using the textured side for the bottom of the feet. We're going to apply pressure, do a quarter turn, and then release. If you're massaging, you're just going to use your thumbs to kind of do little circles and massage out any tension in the balls of the feet and the arches of the feet. Make sure you address the side of the arch. Let's do that on the other side. Again, if you have the activator, you're pressing a quarter turn and then release. Working from the heel all the way up to the metatarsal head. Getting the arch of the foot. All right, now if you have your ball, you go ahead and put your ball on the ground and you're gonna step on the ball, starting with your toes, spreading those toes out over the ball, stretching out the toes, and then move your way down the foot, applying pressure, standing on the ball. Standing on the ball, you can wiggle your foot back and forth, step and roll. Do that on both feet. Again, starting with the toes, spreading the toes out, rolling them over top. Moving down through the arch of the foot. Getting a little mobility there. Then take your Rolga. Turn to the side here. Applying pressure, toe up, pressing into that, getting a good calf stretch. You can roll back and forth a couple times. Other foot. Getting that good stretch. We can take this now and roll out the calves. So we're going to put the calves in the outside valleys of our roller. Hands beside you. Scooting back and forth. From right below the back of the kneecap down to the ankle, you can scoot back and forth. Applying a little bit more pressure now, we can cross one leg over the other. You can point and flex those feet. I'm traveling and this feels really good after sitting in the car all day yesterday. Other side, pointing and flexing the feet. As we do these SMR techniques, it's important that if you find a trigger point, to hold it on that trigger point, but don't hold your breath. Breathe through the stretch to allow the muscle to release. All right. Set that aside. We're going to do some foot drills now. Exercise our brain and our feet. From a standing position, your feet are evenly on the floor. We want to lift, spread out all the toes, and lower them on the mat. Lift, spread, lower. Really allowing them to become grounded with the floor. One more time. Spreading out. Now let's try to lift up and lower just our big toe. Just that one toe. The other toes are still spread out on the floor. Now we're creating those neural synapses in our head that are sending the message to the foot. So if you feel like this is brain exercise, it kind of is. Now try to lift up that piggy toe, that little small toe on the outside, a little bit harder. As you're training your feet, you could hold down those other feet and kind of manipulate this one to try to train it to do what you want it to do. Now let's rock from the inside of the foot to the outside, stretching out the ankle, supinate and pronate. Trying to keep that ankle mobility so that we can squat more deeply. Bending now at the foot fold or the metatarsal heads, we're going to press our toes into the floor. Lift and lower. Lifting and lowering. On the other foot, lift and lower. Stepping into a plank now. For those of you who aren't getting on the floor today, you could do these on a chair. The chair at the hotel has wheels on it, so I'll demonstrate using the wall. When we step back into our plank here, we're going to lift and lower our toes, okay, in a plank rock. Okay, from the top of your mat, big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, step it out to plank. On your knees or toes or on the wall, pressing through the palms. Try to imagine yourself pulling the floor away from you on the outside to open up your chest. Now rock your toes, pushing back and forth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it into a quadruped position. We're going to do some wrist mobility. If you're not getting down on the floor, you can do this on your seat. Let's start with our hands facing to the outside. Rocking side to side. Getting that good stretch in our wrists. If any of this hurts, if you have carpal tunnel or previous wrist injury, we can take some of the pressure of our body off the wrist or reduce the range of motion. All right, take your hands facing the front now. So your thumbs are to the outside and your pointer fingers are to the front of your mat. Hands stacked under the shoulders, rocking forward and back. Again, feeling that good stretch in the wrists. Now let's take our fingers and point them towards us. We're going to stretch out our forearms. Again, our hands are still stacked under our shoulders, pushing back, feeling that good stretch, forward and back. Pressing back into that stretch. Now your range of motion may vary from mine. This is a very personal workout. Your range of motion might be different. The amount of pressure that you apply during your SMR work might be different. All right, taking our hands back to a standard plank position, stacking them under our shoulders. We're gonna press our palms up off the mat. Press and lift, stretching out the fingers. Now you notice I'm taking a little bit of pressure off of my wrist before I try to lift up. The stronger your wrist, the more weight you can put on them. But if you're just starting out, you can lift and just apply just a gentle amount of pressure. As you get stronger, you can use more of your weight to strengthen your wrists. Feel that good stretch in your fingers. All right, coming on up. Our next sun salutation, we have a plank to down dog pedal. So from our plank position, pushing back into the down dog, we're going to bend our knees right and left. Right and left. Okay, from the top of our mat, big inhale up, exhale, forward fold, half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, step it out to your plank, away from the wall or your chair, on your knees or your toes. Nice long line through the spine. Push back into your down dog, pressing your heels towards the floor. Breathe through it. Now let's bend those knees right and left, right and left. Couple more. Take a big step forward, step it in, and big shoulder roll. We are going to do some more foam rolling and self-myofascial release with our Rolga now. Focusing on opening up our chest area, releasing overactive lats, helping open up our shoulders by releasing tension in the shoulder blades. So we're gonna start with the lats. It's really hard to stretch out this area, but everything we do in our daily living, on our phones, on our computers, pulls the shoulders forward. So these muscles are constantly overactive and over tight. So we're going to use the Rolga to release. I'm going to put most of the Rolga behind me and put my rib cage in this area here. So having your shoulder underneath your elbow, setting up your Rolga at your lowest rib. Your bottom leg is straight, the other leg, your top leg is your pusher leg. You're going to use that one to move. And as you move, you're going to release the lat, pressing forward and back. If you find a knot, I have a big knot right there, breathe through the stretch. Keep breathing. Hold the Rolga on that area until you feel it release. You can also lean back slightly or forward to get a little bit different angle on the muscle. Got a lot of tension right there. Again, don't hold your breath. Breathe through the stretch. Let's do that on the other side. Again, most of the Rolga is behind you, extending one leg. Another leg is bent over top, elbow below the shoulder to support. Starting at the bottom of the rib cage and slowly rolling up. Going up to the armpit. A lot of my tension is close to the armpit, so I'm going to hold it there. Keep breathing through the stretch. You don't want to hold your breath. Now, similar to a massage, because we're really releasing tension in the muscles, and muscles are made out of a lot of water, we want to make sure that after doing this workout that we drink a lot of water today to help the muscles with the repair. Breathing through the stretch. Rolling up. We can do some release now on the upper back and shoulders. We want our spine in the center of our rolga to protect that joint. So starting at the middle of the back, I'm going to support my neck with my hands. Legs are bent as I scoot back. If you're not getting down on the floor, you can do this on the wall. As you scoot forward and back. If you feel a tight area, we can target that tight area a little bit more with our activator or your ball. So you find that area and you're going to place the ball in that spot and just apply pressure and lay on it. And this is like when the massage therapist is putting the pressure on the trigger point, it will release that area. If you miss the area and you don't get it quite right, you can adjust the ball or move it to the other side to get another area targeted. The last area that we need to do to really open up the chest is our chest muscles. So we want to focus on up here at the top of our pectorals, not in the breast tissue area, way up here where the pecs, if I flex right there, where your pecs are. So placing the rolga on a chair or the floor, upright, and then you're gonna apply pressure and then just do little circles. And on the other side. Breathing through this stretch. All right. Come on up to a standing position. Our chest should feel nice and open now. As we reach, pull down, opening your chest. Pulling those elbows towards the back. Reach and pull. Reach. Squeezing those shoulder blades back. Reaching and pulling. Breathe through it. Reach. Pull. Now take your arms, cross them in front of you, looking down at your toes. Stretching out your back here. Pressing your arms around, lacing them behind you, or putting them in the small of your back, opening up your chest. We're gonna extend this stretch next with Humble Warrior. So take a big step forward. Your feet are basically perpendicular here. My legs are really long, so I need to take a nice big step. Leaning into that stretch. The front leg is bent. My back leg, my feet are pressing into the floor. I'm not on the side of my foot. The whole foot is pressing in. We're going to take our hands either behind our waist or lace them like we did before. I'm going to turn this way. Or lace them here. Leaning into that pose, we're going to tip at the hip and slowly start to come down. Now, take your arms option. If you want a little bit more stretch and extend them, you can hold them here or lift them up overhead as you bring your head closer to your knee for that good stretch. Let's do that on the other side. Switching sides. Again, pressing your foot into the floor. Hands in the small of the back or lace them. Lean into that stretch. Tipping at the hip. Coming on down. Option, extend the arms. Now, depending on your flexibility, my shoulder is touching my leg. Yours doesn't have to be touching your leg. The whole purpose of this really is to get a good stretch in the underside of the leg and in the opening up the chest. All right, come on up. Our next sun salutation from your plank, going into a down dog, reaching for the outside of the knee, shin, or ankle. All right, here we go. Big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, step it away from your wall or chair, on your knees or toes in that plank, pressing your palms to the floor. Soft elbows, push back into down dog. From your down dog, reach for your knee, shin, or ankle. Go back to your plank, either on your toes or your knees, pressing through the plank, down dog, reach. The lower on your leg you reach, the bigger the stretch. Back to your plank. Reach. Plank, nice long line through the plank. Press, reach, plank. Hold it here. Step forward. Roll it up. Moving pyramid. Your feet are going to be perpendicular, your hips to the front. If your hips are tight, you may have your feet both pointing to the front. Chest is open, tipping at the hip, coming down, 2, 3, 4. Come on up. Tipping at the hip, down, 2, 3, 4. Pressing up, feeling that good stretch in the back of the front leg. Your back is flat, your chest is open and wide. One more time on this side. Let's switch sides. Set yourself up with your other leg as the lead leg. Again, your hips square to the front, tipping at the hip. Down, 2, 3, 4. Coming on up. Down, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling as you fold over. Extending and lengthening your spine. One more time. Come on up. Our next sun salutation, if you're not getting down on the floor, it's our plank. Alternating leg lift. So we're really going to engage our legs and our core as we lift that leg. All right, here we go. Big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, step it out to your plank, away from the wall, on your knees or toes. Lifting and squeezing that leg. Lift. Pressing through the palms. Core is engaged. Nice long line through the spine. Flat back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it in. Roll it up. Our next stretching series, we're going to incorporate a couple yoga moves. Have your feet staggered in a lunge position. Chest up, open and wide. Pushing to the front, push. Taking your outside arm around to the back leg. Bring your other arm up into reverse warrior. Sink into that stretch. Looking up at your hand. Now take that hand that you're looking at, and we're gonna windmill our arms down and around so that your other arm comes down first into a runner's lunge. Option, we have our high lunge right here. Step back into your plank. Switch. Sink into the runner's lunge on the other side. We can also be on our knee here. We really want to get into that good stretch on the underside of the leg. Step it in. Roll it up. We're going to do that on the other side after we do our next sun salutation. Sun salutation, this time with a plank. We're going to drive our knee towards the same side elbow. Knee to elbow from our plank. Okay, here we go. Big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, step it out to plank. From your plank here, spider climbers, whether you're on the wall, on your knees, or on your toes, drive that knee up towards the elbow. Exhale as you do, we're crunching, working the obliques. 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it in, roll it up. Back to our push reverse warrior series that we did. Switching your lead leg. Feet are in a lunge position. Nice tall chest. Pressing to the front, press. Use that imaginary resistance. Take that outside arm around to the back of the leg. Reverse warrior. Sinking into that stretch. Looking up at that hand. Sink a little deeper. We're gonna windmill those arms now. Around in a circle. Down to the floor in your runner's lunge. Either on your knee or toe, sink into that stretch. Let's do that on the other side. Plank and switch. Other leg. Sink into that stretch. Back to plank. Step it in. Roll it up. Our next sun salutation series, from your plank, we're going to Chaturanga. Elbows are in, coming close to the wall or the floor, pressing back into an up dog and then a down dog. So when we do our Chaturanga, we want to keep our elbows in close to our body. Here we go. Big inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, shoulders back, opening up that chest. Step it back into plank, either away from the wall, on your knees or toes. Elbows in, Chaturanga, down to the floor. Up dog, you can drop your knees. Shoulders away from your ears. Elongate and lengthen your spine. Toes under, down dog. Pressing those heels towards the floor. Step it in. Roll it up. Big shoulder roll. Now we're going to take our feet a little bit wider. Mine are going to be about as wide as my mat. Arms are up and both together. You can hold them together or you can keep them shoulder width apart. We're going to overhead side stretch, reach, elongating and lengthening through that outside arm. Now swing around the clock, reach. Again, stretch, around, and reach to center. Let's do that in the other direction. Elongate and reach. Feel that good stretch from your pinky all the way down to your hip bone. Around. One more time. Reach. Around. Nice job. Come to a seated position, either on the floor or in your chair. In a comfortable cross-legged position if you're on the floor. If you're in a chair, I want your feet parallel directly in front of you. Adjust your sits bones to be evenly placed on the floor or the chair. Nice long spine, elongating like you have a string coming, pulling you up. Big inhale. Exhale, opening up the chest. Rotate and twist. You can drop your hands, look behind you. Get that good spinal stretch. Other side, big inhale up. Exhale. Rotate and twist. Big inhale this time. As we open up our chest, bring the hands to the knees. Round your back towards the back of your chair or the back of your mat. Feel that good stretch. Press your arms around, either grabbing the back of your chair, pushing your hands onto the floor, opening up your chest, looking up at an angle ever so slightly. Feel that good stretch. Coming back to neutral, we're going to inhale, reach forward like you're handing me a big package. Nice long spine. Now round your back and bring your hands towards the floor. Breathing through as you lean and forward fold. We're going to finish our exercise today with legs up the wall pose. If you need some support for your back, there's two options. As I said, I'm at a hotel, so I don't have my yoga stuff, but I grabbed the blanket and a pillow from the closet. You can use this to support your back or your bottom. So you're going to want to find a wall where you're not going to kick anything down. Putting your bolster or your blanket a little bit away from the wall. And the pillow is going to be slightly closer with a little bit of space because you're going to scoot yourself close to the wall. And as you slowly recline, you're going to bring your legs up. Now, the closer you are to the wall, the more hamstring stretch. This is really good for bringing circulation into your legs, relaxation. Now, if your pillows aren't quite right when you lay down and you feel arch or pressure in your back, I want you to lift your bottom up and adjust the pillow. We can have our hands on our belly, you can have them beside you, or up above you to kind of keep your chest open. This feels pretty good. Again, the more flexible you are, the closer your bottom is going to be to the wall. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. Nice and slow. Breathing all the way down to your pelvic floor, expanding your ribs as you inhale. Feeling your chest rise. Now blow it all out. Blow it all out from your pelvic floor all the way up to your chest. going to stay in this pose for up to 5 to 10 minutes. If you start to feel uncomfortable, you can certainly bend your legs here, and that's how you're going to get out of this pose as well. Bending your legs, rolling to the side, and pressing yourself up to be seated. Thank you for joining me today for Stretch, Mobility, and Recovery. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at SMR Stretch. I hope that you feel rejuvenated and relaxed now and ready to crush your day. I'll see you next time.